YouTube, welcome to GeekShhh. So before we proceed to the transcoding part of the video, let me give you an overview of the process. So depending on what we're using to transcode, the setup might be slightly different, but we're always going to use Windows 10 with 32 gigabytes of RAM. We're going to use the same 4K movies so that each video can be compared with the others. Now, the reason we're going to use 4K movies is because it puts the most pressure on your Plex server. You see, your server can directly play tens of 4K movies. It can directly play tens of 1080p movies. It also can transcode tens of 1080p movies. But how many 4K movies can it transcode simultaneously? That's the question we are trying to answer in these videos. So a few things you should know is my ISP gives me 1 gigabyte download and also 1 gigabyte upload speeds. We purchased the Plex Pass so that we can enable hardware transcoding, meaning we're going to use a graphic card or the iGPU of the Intel CPU to do the transcoding of the movies. We are also going to use Google Chrome web browser. Now, the reason for using Google Chrome web browser is because of the tabs that Chrome displays. Now, the tabs in the upper right will have a speaker icon. The speaker icon is significant because if it disappears, that means that one of our movies is buffering. Buffering means that we are hitting the limits of what our setup can actually handle. Now, we're also going to focus in on HW info. The reason for that is that will allow us to pay attention to how many gigs of RAM we are utilizing during this process. Also, the total CPU usage, as well as the total iGPU usage. We also going to be able to see the total UPS load, which would let us know how much wattage we are utilizing during the whole process. We also going to be looking at the temperature, but that's not as important as the rest. Now, the 4K movie sizes will range anywhere between 9.9 gigabytes all the way up to 54 gigabytes. All the movies are 4K 10-bit, but the first 9 of them are also HDR10. Now, out of all the movies, only 2 of them are actually remix movies. Those 2 movies are Glory and Home Alone. I also need to mention that subtitles will be off for this process. So now that we got all that out the way, let's proceed with the test. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get this started. This is the A310 graphic card once again, and this time around we're going to be testing the AV1. Personally, I don't know why you guys want to do the AV1. I personally prefer HEVC, but y'all can explain it to me in the comments. First, I'm going to start off by doing a direct play of a AV1 file just so y'all can see how the system is. Let's jump over here into the dashboard. I already got it going. It's the direct play. And let's go ahead and check in with the system. As you can see, 5.4. It's not really going to do anything. I just want y'all to see how it is. Under 10% CPU usage. There goes the CPU. GPU is doing nothing because at the end of the day, we're just doing direct play. And UPS load 72 watts. And we're going to look at the iGPU real quick. It's doing nothing. It's not going to do nothing at all because we're doing the GPU rather than the iGPU. So there we have the system with just one direct play. Now let's start the 4K transcode test. So I have some AV1 transcode files. Let me stop this direct play one here. I stopped it. You can't direct play in the web browser for some reason on Plex. You only could direct play through the Plex app. So anyway, let's start with Rain Man. This is a classic movie. When it comes to Tom Cruise has an amazing film history. He's great at what he did. He really picked some real great films to, give his time to. Even before he became this mega star and he was just on the grind, he really chose some great films to be a part of. And that's why he got to the point where he was doing 50 million a movie. So Tom Cruise with Rain Man. This is a great movie right here. I forgot the guy that actually played Rain Man. So here's the system right here. As you can see, it's going crazy. 68% CPU usage, or a little over 6 gigs of RAM being used. GPU power 16%, and GPU usage only 25. GPU is only 25. CPU jumped up like crazy. There go the temperatures. That's not really, worth mentioning. And then we jumped up with the UPS load all the way up to 115. AV1 made it lose its mind. It made the system lose its mind. I don't know why you guys will want to do AV1 files. I don't get it. That's the iGPU is doing nothing. I'm not checking in with that anymore. But we just going to focus on these. So boom, that's just with one transcode. Let's get to the second one. Now, Van Helsing, I didn't really watch this. I watched like an hour of it, and it was pretty good from what I seen. You know what I mean? I really just got it just because, you guys wanted to see the AV1. After this, we're going to get into the 1080p. So hang tight. I just want to run through this one real quick. So it automatically transcodes to another version of 4K. Let's go ahead and push it to 720p. All right, so this was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the TV show, the Van Helsing TV show with the woman playing Van Helsing. I saw that one. That wasn't that bad. All right, so boom, we have, let's go to the dashboard, make sure it's transcoded. So 2 of them transcoding. Let's check in with the system. We done jumped up to 96%. You know what I mean? 118 watts, 26% on the GPU total usage, 16 watts, for the GPU, and then 6.8 on the memory being used. But we jumping up to 96% on the CPU. This is with AV1. So I don't know if it's necessarily, let's get into the next movie, then we'll talk more. So Bronx Tale, this, let me make sure I'm playing the right version, because sometimes it'll play the other one. Let me make sure we're playing the right one. All right, so the Bronx Tale, I can't really necessarily say it's a classic. This is just a very good movie from the 90s. It's not Goodfellas. It's not Casino. It's not The Godfather. It's not those. Why y'all girlfriend calling me like this? I don't know why she calling me. Let me turn that off. My bad if you heard my phone going off. I don't know why y'all girl calling me. Anyway, so this is not like a classic. I guess you could call it a classic. I don't know. That's what you're into. I just think it was a really good movie from the 90s. It just wasn't up there it wasn't the Goodfellas or Casino. That's just not what it was. But it's definitely a memorable movie from the 90s, and I really liked it growing up back in the day. Let's see if it transcode. Let's see if it hit the transcode. Where we at? We done tapped 100%. But let's see if it go through. Let's see if it go through. It says it went through, but it's not necessarily playing up here, but it's saying it went through. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Hold on. I don't want to give up so easy. Where play version? Play version 4K. Get me to the beginning of the film, man. From the beginning. And let's see. So yeah, like I said, this is not Goodfellas. It's not The Godfather. It's not Casino. But this is a real good movie about mob life. Not necessarily all about mob life, but a story. And it's like a Bronx Tale. It's a story about, something that happened in the Bronx. It just involved some mob guys. I didn't even know the mob was in the Bronx like that, tell you the honest truth. But yeah, here we go. Like I said, we're tapping. I think that's it. I honestly think that's it. Let's skip it. Let's go to another movie. Maybe that movie is just giving us issues. Let's try another movie. Let's try Tenet. Now, Tenet is one of those movies. This is with Denzel Washington's son. This guy has played in a lot of big budget movies, despite the fact that he doesn't have a crazy history in Hollywood. He's played in a lot of big budget movies. I think that is his father's privilege that he is taking advantage of. Now, I think he's good at acting. I saw a TV show that he was in on HBO with The Rock. Let me go ahead and force this transcode. Maybe it's a situation where Nah, I don't think that is. You know, on the A380, we had to wait 15 seconds before we forced the transcode, but it went through. All right, so this one went through. Maybe we got to wait a few seconds before we force it. So now we have 3 transcodes. They're all loaded up. CPU usage, 100%. 118 watts, 16 watts, 28% on the GPU, 8.9 on the memory. So, but it's playing. So we have 3 loaded up. All right, I'm gonna take my time. Here go Full Metal Jacket. I never watched this movie. I really just got it because it was an A1 4K movie. I got it for y'all, basically. I never watched it. I'm gonna check it out one of these days. This is one that I never really necessarily heard of growing up in the 90s. I don't think I ever seen it or really heard of it. Let's see if we could get it to play. Remember, it automatically transcodes to another version of 4K because we're in the web browser. It automatically does that. So let's go ahead and push this. Let's wait 15 seconds just to make sure it goes through. I don't necessarily even know this about. It's something that got to do with the military. I think this is considered a classic, but I just never watched it. I'm gonna check it out one of these days. Let's push it to 720p. Let's see if it go through. We waited 15 seconds just in case that was going to be the issue, and we went ahead and pushed it. Let's jump into the dashboard. Let's see if it go through. Now, according to the dashboard, it's transcoding, but we do not see the speaker icon yet. So I don't know if it necessarily is buffering. It's buffering. So will it go through? Let's check in with the system. Like I said, we're at 100%, 118, 29% GPU total usage. Yeah, that's buffering. It's not even going to start. All right, now it started playing. Okay, so it finally went through. All right, so now we have 4 going. All right, so we have 4 transcodes. Once again, we're at 100% over here and only 29% on the GPU. It stopped. It's buffering, it stopped. So basically 3 if you lucky. And with the AV1, that's why I don't really necessarily understand why would you want to do AV1 like that unless you're direct playing it. But you know, people requested it, so I'm doing it. So it's not about the GPU because the GPU is only doing 27%. It's not even reaching its full load yet. It's not even 3/4 in of what it possibly could do. The CPU is what's tapping everything out. It's at 100%. This is very different from how HEVC 4K movies react to, the system reacts to HEVC 4K transcodes. This is very different. The CPU doesn't go crazy when you do 4K transcodes on the HEVC. So I don't know. You guys requested it, so I'm just going ahead and do it. But you know, 2 or 3 at most. That's buffering too. I personally think 2 at the most you should do with this particular GPU. But I don't know if that's necessarily true because the GPU can handle more. It's just that the CPU can't. So maybe if I had a 12900K with this GPU, we can see more what it can handle. But anyway, that's all we can do on this one. Shout out to Tom Cruise on Rayman. That's great. We're going to jump over to some 1080p. I have a TV show that I went ahead and made sure I got. That was an AV1. That was Under the Dome. Now this is 1 season. I'm going to go ahead and load these up and I'll be right back. I'm going to transition out on this. All right. So I got all of them loaded up, the whole 1st season. And we're going to go ahead and get this started. First, I'm going to just direct play one of the episodes just so y'all can see how the system reacting with a direct play of it. So that's direct playing. And y'all see how the system reacting. We had 64%, 70%, not percent wattage. I'm sorry about that. 15 watts. The GPU is not doing much at all. Total CPU usage under 10%. 6.9. That's because we're coming off of the 4K. So, we're still utilizing a lot of the memory. All right. And the iGPU is doing nothing as usual. So let's go ahead and start on this season. So Under the Dome was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me stop this. Under the Dome was okay. It's a lot of mystery. I can't really put it up there with Lost. You know how Lost was so amazing. I can't put it up there with Lost at all, but it was a pretty good show. You know what I mean? Towards the third season, I think they kind of lost me, to tell you the honest truth. Let me go ahead and push this to 720p. You know, it's an AV1 file, so it automatically transcodes. Now this is 1080p. Boom. Once again, it's going crazy. Once again, the system going crazy. 17 watts, 55% total GPU usage on this one. 54% total CPU usage, 7.1 with the memory. I don't think the memory is not really utilizing that much. It's just that we came off the 4K transcode, so that's why that's like that. And 80 watts. System is going kind of crazy again. It just dropped down to 28 total CPU usage. All right, so we got that one playing. Let's get to the second episode. Go ahead and start it. All right, force that transcode. Yeah, so this was an okay series. There's a lot of mystery, a lot of questions that need to be answered. I don't put it, once again, I don't put it up there with the Lost or even the new show they got out right now called From. I don't know if any of you watching that. That's a pretty good show. It's not really up there with those, in my honest opinion. So this is 3 we got running right now. 3 episodes in. We got 3 episodes running. Let's check back in with the system. All right, we at 79% total GPU usage, you know, around 60%, 17 watts. All right, 126 watts UPS load. So the system is really going crazy with these AV1 files. I don't know why y'all want it, but you know, I'm here to give it to you. So there we are. So it, you know, it's settling back down. So let's continue. All right, so we got 3 right now. Let's, you know, start up the 4th episode. They got a lot going on in this show though. A dome came over the whole entire city. They trying to figure out what's going on. Go ahead and force that transcode. But yeah, this is a pretty good one. Not really all that great, you know. If I had it out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 6. All right, this is on the 5th episode. Let's go ahead and force that transcode. One of the guys that's in there, one of the main characters is someone you should be familiar with. Him right there. He's from Breaking Bad, which is an utter classic that is undeniable. Can't deny Breaking Bad. So he's in this one as well. So 2 good shows we're in. This show they actually canceled after. Let's check back into the system real quick. See, we done jumped up to 99% on the CPU. 126 watts, 57% on the GPU. We done jumped up to 99%. What's the temperature over here? Okay, let me just make sure y'all can see the temperatures. All right, so we're getting up there. You know what I'm saying? What was that? We was on this one. All right, let's start this one up. So yeah, he was on. I guess this could be considered a classic. I don't know. After the 2nd season, they kind of lost me. Tell you the honest truth. The 3rd season, I couldn't get into it at all. They had a little too much going on with it. They kind of lost it. I don't think the writers really had a full-blown plan, and it got canceled after the 3rd season. So that's how that went. So right now we got 6 going, and we still got headroom. You know what I mean? 46% right there. Y'all see it. Y'all see everything for yourselves. All right, so let's continue. Let's go to the 7th episode. But yeah, this is a good show to watch. It kind of was hard to really keep my attention when it first started out. But after a while, I was like, I got into it. Nothing really else to watch right now at the moment, unfortunately. From is, you know, they're shooting From right now. So third season should be here by fall. They said it's going to start in fall. They're actually released a trailer already, so I think they're done shooting. They're just editing it up. All right, so we jumped up to 99%, and also they're working on Silo. We're at 100% right now, so it's getting up there. But we have 7 AV1 1080p transcodes going right now. Let's see if we could get more in there. Let's go. Make sure y'all pay attention to these speaker icons. If one go away, that's mean we're buffering. That means we're tapped out. Let's get to the 8th one. Let's start up this 8th episode. If it will load, let's see. All right, boom. Remember, it automatically transcodes to 1080p. So it automatically transcodes from the highest version down to a transcodable version of 1080p. I'm pushing it to 720p. Let's see if it go through. Not really looking good. Let's go to the dashboard. Where are we at? 5. The pilot. And is this the 7th one? Nah, the 7th one up here. Okay, it's saying that it went through. All right, cool. So we got 8 going right now. Okay. All right, let's check back in with the system. 99%, 54% on the GPU. All right, so we're basically pushing the limits right now. Let's get to the 9th episode. I like the acting. You know, the actors did very well in it. The actors and actresses, they did very well in it. It's just that I don't think the writers really had a plan for this one outside of the 1st and 2nd season. Because the 3rd was just, I don't know, it just all went to shit, to be honest with you. So, go ahead and push it to 720p. Let's see if it go through. Jump over here. What's this? The 9th episode, correct? 9th. Let's see if it go through. There we go. With the 9th, it's saying that it's transcoding. It just buffering. Okay, it just started. So it just started playing. Nothing else is buffering right now. Everything is good. Even though we're tapping 100% on the CPU and around 50% on the GPU. Nothing else is buffering. So let's continue. Let's get to the 10th episode. Let's see if everything go through. Make sure you're checking out these icons, speaker icons, because if that go away, you know we're buffering. Now, like I said, if someone in the comments could go ahead and explain the advantage of using AV1 over HEVC, because when I was acquiring the files, oh, that buffered. Number 9 buffered. That's out of there. Number 9 buffered. It just started back up, but number 9 was definitely buffering. So we definitely get in there. Number 9 buffering. All right, but we have 10 up right now, but number 9 definitely. Okay, this just buffered too. Number 10 just buffered. I don't know where number 10 at. 10th episode. Okay, here's the 10th episode. It's playing again. So we already tapping out. We tapping out. And like I said before, at 10 we're tapping out. So I'm gonna say like 8. We could do 1080p transcodes. 8. And like I said, it's not the GPU. The GPU is fine. It's the CPU that's the issue. The CPU is tapping out. So someone has to really explain to me why use AV1 over HEVC. Please put it in the comments. Please let me know why. So I'm really tapping out. When it comes to 1080p, I'm saying 8 transcodes for 1080p. And for 4K, I'm looking at 2 transcodes of 4K AV1. Let me go ahead and do, because a lot of people was asking for 1080p of regular files, so non-AV1, just HEVC or whatever. Let me go ahead and do that as well. All right, guys. So I have the wire loaded up because a lot of people wanted the 1080p to see what the A310 can handle with the 1080p. So I'm gonna go ahead and load up the wire. I loaded up the wire and we're gonna get into it. Let's just check in with the system beforehand. Everything is back calm, stable, regular. So let's go ahead and start this up. So the wire is definitely a classic. You can't go wrong with this. This is something that came out in the early 2000s. And without the wire, you would never had Breaking Bad or things of that nature. The Wire is definitely a top 5 show of all time. I have to tell you that off top. Let's check in with the system. Yeah, 1080p is not really, you know, it don't really put much pressure on the system. Well, the non-AV1, AV1 1080p files. Yeah, it don't put much pressure on the system at all. So you should be able to handle a lot of these. Let's go to the dashboard. I don't even have the dashboard. Oh man, tripping. Going with the dashboard. All right, so 1080p to 720p. All right, so we got the first episode up. Let's load up the second one. I'm not even gonna check back in with the system until probably the 5th one. This should be easy this doesn't put any pressure on the system like that, man. That's why I didn't really originally start out doing it, man. But, you know, being that people was asking for it, got to give the people what they want, you know. With The Wire, you can't go wrong. It's about a drug empire. 2 guys took over the projects, and then they basically took over the west side of Baltimore. So, 3, let's go 2 more. Classic. So, it's such a classic. I remember watching this every Sunday night on HBO, man. Oh my God. Everybody had to go and watch this on Sunday nights, man. Such a classic show, man. I wish I could watch it for the first time. For y'all, those of you out there that never seen this, boy, you in for a treat. So we have 5 of them going right now. Dashboard shows 6. Why show 6? Oh, I mean, I don't know why it does that. So exit out of that. That should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should have dropped it down to only 5. I don't know why. All right, but anyway. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, that should have. I don't know. I guess it's gonna take a while for it to get away. Anyway, so let's continue to go. Force this transcode 720p. So they basically took over West Baltimore, and you know the problems that come with having a drug crew. That comes with, you know, a whole bunch of issues. You know, you're gonna have robbers like him right here, Omar. You're gonna have people trying to rob you every chance you get, and then you can't have people thinking that you soft, that you could be robbed. So now you got to show them that you are not playing no games. So that's what the whole show is about. And then you got the cops trying to take them down. So it had a real good angle to it, man. Amazing show. Amazing show. Up to that time, see, we got the system right here, 31%. It's not really putting pressure on the system, man. Like, that's why I don't really like doing it, man. This is going to take forever. Well, let's continue to go, man. Let's go faster. Let's go faster. I'm gonna say 27. This takes too long. That's why I don't like doing the 1080p transcodes. This might be the first and last time I do it, because I can't even imagine doing this with the A380, or which one I'm coming up with next. I'm coming out with the A2000. I'm coming out with that one next. So I'm not wasting my time with no 1080p's. I'm sorry guys, but it's just too many. It's just too many. It can transcode too many of them to really waste your time doing it. But nonetheless, I did the AV1 4Ks, I did the AV1 1080p's, and we did the regular 1080p transcodes. We did all of them. I feel like I did my job. This is more than enough for y'all to be hitting that like button,